See, now before gathering all of these books for this video, I was like, I haven't been buying any books lately. Like, I haven't. It's gonna be a short and sweet little video, but I got a good stack here. I mean, granted, there was a time when Beth was buying this many books in a singular month. It's been more than a month. It's been a few months since my last book haul. Correct me if I'm wrong. Self can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll look after this. But I have a reading haul. I mean, I have a book haul. Okay, some of these I've already read, so, but you know, this is also my form of entertainment. It'd be like, it's kind, well, is it? It's kind of equivalent to me buying $500 concert tickets to go see Sabrina Carpenter or something, right? It's my form of entertainment. Except I'm not going to the concerts, I'm staying home. I'm saving gas and reading paper. And then when I'm done with the books, if I don't want them anymore, I bring them to used bookstores. How do you think these bookstores are staying in business? And I'm also supporting artists. Okay, I am supporting people like Miss Emily Henry. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive on in to the book haul, because your girl's already sweating up a storm. It is like 89, 90 degrees outside. Okay, I am wishing for fall weather, so I am wearing a sweater. She may regret it. Start off with our first book. This is Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation. I almost forgot the title there for a minute. This is her, is it the 10th anniversary? Has it been 10 years since this book came out? No, it has not. Let me see. 2021. Why did I think it's been 10 years? It's been 2021? Why do I feel like that's wrong? 25, 24, 23. No. Okay. Anyway, so I had a copy of People We Meet on Vacation already, but I, if you did not know this, prefer hardbacks. I do. And so this was the only Emily Henry book that I did not have in hardback format. So I was like, snag. I also have the beach read one of this, so they match. But look how cute. And on the front it says, "You're home to me." It's just, it's gorgina. It's gorgeous. Okay. And the sprayed edges. I really need to reread this. It's been a minute since I've read it. Out of all of her books, I feel like this is the one that I claim I like the least. I think I gave it 4 stars. However, for an Emily Henry book, I think this is the one that I claim that I like the least. However, this is the one that I don't remember anything about. Also, the movie's coming out. I need to reread it. These two people here, they used to go on yearly trips or something, and then something happened and they quit talking for a while. And she's also like a travel magazine type of person. Also, this is such a sporadic video, I'm sorry. Also, imagine like being friends with me in real life and you're at my house and we're talking. This is how my conversations go. Beth does not know how to land a plane, okay? Anyway, while I was listening to the audiobook, because I remember I had just gotten into audiobooks, and so I was kind of like obsessed with them. I had a newborn baby and I was like, this is how I'm gonna read my books for a little while, you know? You know how it is. If you're a mama, you know. The character in here, the guy, see, I don't even remember his name. That's how you know I don't remember nothing about this book anymore. Poppy and Alex. So Alex in the book is described as like a gym rat. He eats very healthy and he's got a very nice body and he's attractive and this and the other, but no shade to the audiobook narrator, because I enjoy her audiobooks. I'm currently listening to an audiobook that she is narrating, which is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. However, the way that she did Alex's voice, I just kept picturing somebody like Steve Urkle. I don't know. It just, and I don't know if that's why I couldn't like sink my teeth into this one. I don't know. This isn't a review, but this is my book haul. Next. So we have We're All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. This is Karen Slaughter's newest book. This is also my book club's pick for the month of September. Katie and I co-host a book club called Cereal and Milk. Like, the main hub for the book club is over on Fable. You'll get to see and also have like little discussion boards for each of the chapters and stuff. It's really fun. If you want to join us this month, you still have like a week or so before we do the live on this book, and you should. You want to know why? Because this is my new all-time favorite Karen Slaughter book. I know. That's like, that says a lot. That's a big deal. If you've been here for a minute, or if you follow me even on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, you know how much I am a die-hard fan for Blindsided, for the whole Grant County series, the Will Trent series. This one just kind of like pushed that out of the way. I still love me some Blindsided, some Sarah Linton, okay? She's one of my all-time favorite characters. But in this one, babe, oh, hello. I love Emmy, but there's also a second character that comes into this book, and she is a badass retiring FBI profiler character. It's like my dream come true. Truly, because not only do I love Karen Slaughter, but I also love Criminal Minds, in which it follows the BAU and they're all criminal profilers and stuff. And you could tell Miss Karen Slaughter did some research in this one. You could tell, because there was a lot of info, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, interesting. I really enjoyed this. I have an entire reading vlog on it. I'm not gonna go. Do I need to do monthly wrap-ups again? Because I haven't been doing those but I read this in August, so really it's too late. 5 stars though. Okay, let's stop yapping and dive into more books. We have another thriller here. This is Julie Clark's The Ghostwriter. First off, let's take a minute to look at these. Every time I show this book in a video, I'm going to show you these spread edges because, babe, look at them. They're beautiful. I'm not typically a fan of sprayed edges. Like, even if I buy a book and it has sprayed edges, you don't even see it on my shelves because I don't turn books around or anything like that. Like, I don't care for sprayed edges. But this one, I like it. Is it the reason why I wasn't... Okay. I haven't really been buying thrillers in book form anymore because, I don't know if you noticed, but because a lot of the thrillers that I've been reading lately have been duds. And so for thrillers, what I've been trying to do is like read the books via the library, Reverence, buy it on the Kindle, whatever the hell, read it. If I love it, I will then buy it in book form, i.e. the Karen Slaughter book. But this is an exception because because of the sprayed edges. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's why. The book sounds really good too. So it's like this man, when he was a kid, 2 of his siblings died in a house fire, I believe. A lot of people suspected that it was him that set the house on fire and killed his 2 siblings. Well, fast forward, he is now like a best-selling author, but he does have a ghostwriter, and that is his daughter. And this is gonna be his last book. Speaking of last book, I read somewhere that Stephen King is going to be writing 1 more book. And then I think that's it. That's sad. Anyway, I'm not going to cry. Why am I crying about somebody that I have never met before? The life of an empath. Anyway, so his daughter's gonna write it for him, but he like kind of feeds her what the story is and then she writes it, okay? And so he's like, I'm not gonna tell her a fictional story this go round. I'm gonna tell her the truth of what happened the night my 2 siblings died. It sounds good. It looks good. I have 2 other books by this author and I've never read them before, honestly, because the covers are ugly. I gotta stop. I got them a long time ago from Book of the Month, and my husband has read them though, because my husband, when he reads thriller books for the most part, and sometimes sci-fi. Like Pierce Brown is one of his favorite authors / series, but also so is Lee Child, who's a thriller author. That's neither here nor there. This is not his channel. However, he has read the other 2 books that I have by her, The Last Flight and something else, and I think he gave both of those a 5-star. And I was like, sir, why didn't you ever tell me I have these gems on my bookshelves that I need to read? So like him saying that and then whatever, I was like, okay, let me buy it. I don't know where I was going with that, but I hope I ended it how I wanted it to end. Anyway, up next is a Christmas book. This is called You Make It Feel Like Christmas. Cute cover. I am a Christmas girly pop through and through. Me and my household, we start celebrating Christmas November 1st. I love me some Christmas. Christmas music, Christmas food, Christmas beverages, Christmas movies. I like it all. I love it all. The weather, like hello, it's not 100 degrees outside. Praise. However, I've come to realize the one Christmas thing that I do not like besides the movie A Christmas Story is books. I may have read 20 plus Christmas books in my day. And maybe I've loved one of them, maybe two. So I stopped buying them. I've actually gotten rid of my Christmas books off my bookshelves because I'm like, long story short, this one was sent to me. And that's the only reason why I have it in my hands. And if I don't read it this Christmas season, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. So I'm gonna read it this Christmas season. Because it does sound good, okay? Because it's about this girl and this guy. These two right here. I want to say they had a one-night stand. Sleeping with someone she barely knew was out of character. Sleeping with a professional hockey player. Yes, he's a hockey player. She is a photographer. And I think it says all bets are off when a single-minded photographer and a professional hockey player are forced to spend a week together on his sister's Christmas tree farm. So, and that's like months after they had their one-night stand. Yeah, and I think he's a Grinch. I don't know, girl. It does sound like a good time, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm trying to not get irritated so easily. I'm really trying, but today I'm just irritated. I am irritated. Well, normally I would probably cry about it, and I'm not crying, so growth. But I am irritated, and I'm gonna vent about it. Vent, rant. I'm gonna chat. I'm gonna gab, whatever. Anyway, let me take a drink. Yep, that's what I needed. Okay, so I'm sitting here talking to you guys about the books that I've recently hauled when I get a little notification on my phone and I'm like, that means my package has been delivered. But then I think like, oh wait, my camera never went off. Like I never got a notification that somebody was at my door. You know what that means, right? They didn't deliver the package to my door. Nay, nay. They delivered it to one of my neighbors' doors, okay? And so I opened the door and the delivery truck was still right there. And I was like, hey! But I couldn't run out because I didn't have any pants on. Learned my lesson there. Beth, put some pants on more often, but it's so hot outside. If I'm gonna wear a sweater, I had to sacrifice something, and that was pants. Okay? And I'm not going outside. I'm staying in my house. It's my house. I can do what I want. Anyway, I digress. Whatever neighbor got my package, I need it by tomorrow because I'm leaving tomorrow and I need it for the trip that I'm going on. So they're probably not even the right size. But it's just irritating because I feel like if you cannot read numbers, don't work for a delivery service. You know? Okay. Up next, we have, this book is by Cassie West, which Cassie West, I believe, is a YA author, young adult author. This is her debut into the romance genre. It says it comes out in September, so I don't know if it's already out or fixing to come out, but here you go. It says a smart, sexy, modern romance. A sparkling adult rom-com debut from Cassie West. So I believe it's about a woman who, she's a literary agent. She's obsessed with romance and romance books and whatever. But she doesn't have her own, like, romance. You know what I mean? And she kind of wants it to play out as if it were a book. But it hasn't happened yet. She did, however, go on a date a bit ago with this guy named Oliver, and it wasn't that great of a date, actually. It kind of sucked, except the goodbye kiss was really good, okay? And she can't stop thinking about the goodbye kiss, and she doesn't know that, like, if, you know, should she, like, give this guy a second chance because the kiss was so good? Whatever. Anyway, years go by. I want to say it's been 3 years, and Margot has been fired from her job. She's down and out, right? She's single, and she, like, I think she bumps into Oliver or something. It says, but Oliver, the sweet man with the golden retriever energy, is more steady and helpful than any man she has ever dated. Just when Margot thinks this could actually happen, it's Oliver who pulls back, and his reasons are more than she bargained for. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. The cover is super cute. I really love the whole citrus and the orange and blue and green. This is such cute vibes. Okay, up next, I have 2 tomes of books here. This is book 4 and 5. Yes, 4 and 5 in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I have the first 3 there. I'm hoping to start this series this winter because like winter is coming. I don't know. That's a thing, right? I have never seen the TV show. I don't really know what it's about. All that I know is there's a man named Jon Snow. There's a woman named Khaleesi who's the mother of dragons. That's it. I don't know anything, girl. I'm just going into it and I have faith, so I bought the whole series because I'm like, what if, you know, what if they stop publishing hardbacks and I can't get them in pristine condition anymore? What if, I don't know. But anyway, I bought them. So this series is completed for now. Will it ever be officially completed? I don't know. And I do get a lot of people commenting saying like, don't start Game of Thrones because the series is never going to be finished. The thing is I follow quite a bit of like fantasy readers. Most, if not all of them, say these are some of the best written fantasy books out there. And just to experience that, even if I have to come up with my own ending, I think it'd be worth it. I am also very infamous of never finishing series, so maybe it's made for me. Because sometimes it sucks when things end, you know, so you just don't really want anything to end. You just leave everything simmering in the background. I digress. I got them. Okay, so up next I have another series that I'm buying. So this is books 4, 5, and 6 from the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Book 7 comes out this month. Next week, I think. Something like that. And I will be getting it. And I know what you're thinking about, another series. Like, why do you keep buying it? I've read book 1. If that... if that changed, whatever. So I read book 1. Actually, I listened to it on audio because when I started talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, every single individual comment about it was like, you need to listen to the audiobook. It is the only route to go. And I was like, say less. And I did. And let me tell you something. That audiobook, hands down, the best audiobook narrator that I have ever listened to. By a mile. This man, I don't know if he has awards or not, but he deserves awards for the way that he can sit there and distinguish all these different characters from just fantastic. Okay? The audiobook narrator, 10, 15 stars. Amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. Please listen to it. If you need a good audiobook to listen to, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Okay? But on the flip side, the book itself, hilarious. A bit crude, but like in a hilarious way. If you get it, you get it. And I got it, babe, because I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars, and I was like, yes, I need to buy the rest of the series now because exactly. But I don't know where I'm going with that, but I bought these books. So let's talk about Stephen King for a second because I have 2 books by him to show you. The first one is Hansel and Gretel. He actually wrote a kid's book. So he does have Charlie the Choo Choo, which looks like a kid's book, but I don't have it in person, but I'm pretty sure it's not for kids. This is a legit children's book, and oh my goodness. It's Hansel and Gretel. The illustrator is the same illustrator who illustrated Where the Wild Things Are, which is fantastic because that's a beautiful book. He did such a phenomenal job with this one. It has words, like a lengthy amount of words for a children's book, which is nice because it's something that I can read to my kiddos. But beautiful artwork in this book. But I was really excited to see that he wrote a little lovely children's book. He has mentioned Hansel and Gretel a few times. Actually, I just recently reread The Stand, and in The Stand, at the beginning in the author's note, he also talks about the story of Hansel and Gretel. So I haven't read this yet. I will. And I'm excited to see, like, if he put his own little twist on it, or, like, you know, yeah. Anyway, there's that. And the other Stephen King book that I have to show you is the Bachman books. This is the mass market paperback version, but I'm so excited because these are, either they're pretty hard to come by, they're very expensive, or in my case, the past 2 Bachman books that I have purchased, either they never mailed me the book and then they blocked me on social media because I bought it through Facebook marketplace, or they sent me the wrong books and I had to fight for a refund. So now I have it. Shout out to Carly. I'm excited. So now I can continue on with my Stephen King journey because I do need to go back and read Rage. I don't know if I want to read this entire bind up in a vlog or split it up in actual order, you know, because I skipped Rage. So now I have to circle back to Rage, which is in this bind up. Should I just go ahead and just read this entire bind up for a vlog? I don't know. Let me know, but yay. Oh wait, I have another book. It's not written by Stephen King, but it does take place in the world that he created. And so that is The End of the World as We Know It. So this is New Tales of Stephen King's The Stand. And it has tons of authors. There's a whole list on the back. I've actually read this already. I did a reading vlog. I'll link it down below if you want to know like my thoughts on each of the short stories. I'll tell you my favorite one in this entire collection was written by Nat Cassidy, and I want to say it's either the last or the second to the last story. There are some crazy stories in this book, let me just tell you. Some of them my jaw was like on the floor wondering what the fuck were these people smoking when they wrote this. But I mean, it tracks because it's literally set in Stephen King's world, so, you know. And I will reread it one day. I feel like when I reread The Stand again, I'll probably reread this right after because I reread The Stand right before I read this, and I really enjoyed reading the two back to back because also there was some crossovers. Like in some of the stories we got to see some of the other characters from The Stand, or we got to see like in one of the stories that mentioned the keychain that is also mentioned somewhere in The Stand, and you gotta get the story behind the keychain, just different things like that. It was really fun little treat to read. Definitely recommend if you are a fan of The Stand, which in my opinion is one of Stephen King's like most amazing pieces of work. So truly, I am not gonna lie to you, I don't know what this next book is about. I bought it because everybody has been talking about it, and I was like, well, I want that edition. Like, is this going to be an edition that's going to be around for a while? Is it going to be just like first editions? You know what I mean? Because it has beautiful sprayed edges. It has end paper. Like, you know, it's a beautiful book. And I was like, let me just go ahead and get it. A dark academia fantasy book. And it's called Catabasis. However you want to say it, by R.F. Kuang, which she also said it's however you want to say it. It's not like a particular, you don't have, it's not pronounced in any particular way. You can say it however you want to say it. So in my brain, I say Catabasis, but Catabasis, whatever. Potato, tomato. And it says Dante's Inferno meets Susanna Clarke's Piranesi in this all-new dark academia fantasy from R.F. Kuang, the #1 New York Times bestseller author of Babel and Yellowface, in which two graduate students must put aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Catabasis, a noun, ancient Greek, the story of a hero's descent to the underworld. I don't know, that sounds pretty good. That sounds kind of like, I don't know, an adult version of Percy Jackson. But like also not Percy Jackson, you know? I don't know. But I love a good journey book, and I feel like that's what this is going to be. Up next, we have a romance book. This is Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This is the last book in the Rose Hill series. I've read the first 3. This is the 4th, so I need to get to the 4th. I'm just not super excited about it, to be honest. So I've read the Chestnut Spring series by this author, and I love the Chestnut Spring series minus 2 books. So I love 3 out of the 5. Reckless is probably one of my all-time favorite romance books, and that's part of the Chestnut Spring series. So I was really excited to dive into the Rose Hill series because Reckless is a single daddy book, you know? And I was like, okay, maybe she does really good with single daddies. The Rose Hill series is all about the single daddies. And so I read book number 1, and I was like, okay, this was okay. The main female character was just a bit too childish for me, but I really loved the male main character. So anyway, then I read book number 2, and our main girl character is a singer, and she sings in the book, and I don't know what it is, but that is so fucking cringy to me. I don't like it. I don't like romance books where characters are famous. Other than that though, there's so many good moments in that one. So then the third book was just cringy in general. I didn't really feel the romance between the two main characters, but he was also a wrestler. And at first I was kind of excited about that because I was like, I know wrestling. I used to watch it when I was a kid because my brother watched it all the time. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sting, Kane, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, you know, like all of these 90s pro wrestlers, John Cena, you know, The Rock, whatever. And so the entire time I'm reading this book, I'm picturing like fucking one of them walking around in spandex underwear and a mask. And then it was just kind of unrealistic as well. Because like, you cannot tell me nobody knew who this man was because he wore a mask. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, this is not like a shit on Elsie Silver, but I'm not excited about it. But I'm going to read it anyway, so. The main character's name is Beth? What? You know, it's funny because back in the backpack day, i.e., I don't know, in all my 20s, I've been a reader my whole life. And until here recently, hardly any books ever have the name Beth in them. Hardly any shows ever have the name Beth. But here recently, I've been seeing it a lot. This one, the main character's name is Beth. Hello. Beth and her gentle, kind husband, Frank, are happily married, though their relationship relies on the past staying buried. But when Beth's brother-in-law shoots a dog going after their sheep, Beth doesn't realize that the gunshot will alter the course of their lives. The dog belonged to none other than Gabriel Wolfe, the man Beth loved as a teenager, the man who broke her heart years ago. Gabriel has returned to the village with his young son Leo, a boy who reminds Beth very much of her own son, who died a few years earlier in a tragic accident. Oh no. As Beth is pulled back into Gabriel's life, tensions around the village rise, and dangerous secrets and latent jealousies from the past resurface, this time with deadly consequences. Beth is forced to choose between the woman she once was and the woman she has become. A sweeping love story with the pace and twists of a thriller. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to keep it honest, okay? Before buying this book, I didn't know anything about it. Nothing. I bought it because the amount of people that have been saying this is their best book they've read all year is insane. So many people have been giving this 6 stars. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. The synopsis sounds really good. This is a Reese's book club though. And I'm not going to lie to you. Again, we're trying to be honest here. A lot of her books that she chooses I don't like. So I'm already rooting for you because, you know, your main character, her and I share a name. Anyway, I'm excited to read this. Let me know if you've read it and let me know if you loved it because I've been hearing so many amazing things. Okay, this next one I initially decided to keep because the cover is kind of cool. That's so stupid to say out loud now that I hear that coming out of my mouth. But this is the cover. At first I was like, But if you look closely, it's a horse. See its eyeballs here and its ears and its mane. You're looking straight on to the horse. Anyway, it's about a haunted lakeside property and twisted family secrets. So we have our main chick, Samantha. Her grandfather died and she doesn't expect to be like left in his will or anything because she hasn't really spoken to him in a while since her father unalived himself after being accused of killing a young child. And Sam has always thought that her father was guilty. Sam's grandfather thought otherwise. Sam's like, no, my father is guilty because I saw with my own eyes him burying the little boy's body with blood all over his clothes. But anyway, Sam goes to the will reading and lo and behold, she has left something in the will. She's in fact left the lakeside property. Why? Because the grandfather is so determined to prove to her that her father was innocent that he left her the property so she can see for herself. I don't know. I'm very nervous about haunting books because I am a chicken. I'm nervous, but it does sound good. And so maybe I'll read this for spooky season. I don't know. This next book, let me just tell you that I don't know anything about it. This was actually sent to me, and I don't know, like, they sent me a cute little package. It was actually really cute. I don't know if they, like, sent it to me because it's all janked up and they're like, let me just send this to somebody for free. Anyway, so this is Rebecca Ross's new book called Wild Reverence. I haven't read her other duology, so should I read that before I read this? I don't know. It says, Dear Matilda, I wrote, I let the words flow for her, and when the ink dried, I gave my very heart to the fire. Matilda is the youngest goddess of her clan, blessed with humble messenger magic that she uses to carry words and letters through the realms. But the gods will kill for power, and Matilda holds a secret she must hide from even her dearest allies. And there's that on the... Is this like romantasy? I don't know. I'm not a huge romantasy reader, but maybe it's because I haven't read the right stuff. I don't know. Anyway, the cover itself, though, is beautiful. It's just the sprayed edges are, my copy at least, is janked up. Doesn't matter because you don't see them on my shelf anyway. Whatever. It's a book that I got. And then the last book, the very last book, is another arc. I got an arc of Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff, which I'm really excited about this. Beth, why are you excited? You haven't even read the second book yet. I know. Girl, I know. I was waiting because I read Empire of the Vampire and I fucking loved it. Ate it up. Cried. Obsessed over it. Bought a second copy because, you know what I mean? Like, I loved it. Loved it. And then I waited and waited and waited and waited for him to finally release the second book. And then I was like, well, it had been so long since I read the first book. I feel like I need to read the first book again. And then I was like, but wait a minute. Let me just let the third book come out because this is just a trilogy. I believe this is the last book. Let me just let the third book come out so then I don't have to sit there and wait and wait and wait after the second book to finally get the third book. Because I didn't know how long he was going to like put in between. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. So now I got the third book early. So now I can go ahead and get started with my reread of Empire of the Vampire. And I'm so excited. It's a fantasy book. You have vampire. It's a whole thing. And it's just... It's great, and I cannot wait, truly. If you are a character-driven individual, this is one of those that's going to be for you. It's heavy on the character, and I literally cried when I was reading book number 1. There are scenes that I read in book number 1 that I can still recall in my brain to this day, and I've only read book number 1 one time. And to me, that says a lot about a book. Anyway. That is it. That is my book haul. And while we were sitting here discussing, nobody came to bring my package to the door, which makes me a little sad. But I do have an hour of quietness until my kids get out of school. So I'm going to spend that hour reading more of Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil because I'm telling you what, it's another good one. It's like toxic vampires, toxic lesbian vampires. That's all I'm going to say. It's all you really need to know because, you know,